Hello everyone and welcome back to one of our Mythic dungeon videos. This time we're going to be looking at Plaguefall, which is in Maldraxxus. This is going to be done on a +10. This is just a beginner's guide to doing Mythic keys and just showing you through the dungeon and what stuff we do. As you saw off the bat there, I popped my Metamorphosis as the key was going in, because as soon as the timer hits 0, the key starts and all of your big cooldowns are reset. So one step ahead. If you're a demon hunter, you can think about doing that. Here we go left. You can go left or right. Really up to you. We just decided to go left because I don't know. It's just what we're used to, and the stuff on the right hand side just seems to give like shitloads of horrible like debuffs and poisons and stuff like this. We've also got this crap on the ground we need to avoid, especially coming out of that nest which we pulled as well. But get that down and it stops these larvae coming out and exploding, which is doing the damage. The big dude just had a cast that needed to be interrupted, which was I think it's called Creepy Crawler. We should also mention the affixes. Here we have Sanguine, Grievous, Fortified and Prideful. So Fortified just trashes more health and does more damage. Grievous, any damage you take to you and brings you onto a 90% HP, gives a stacking debuff on you, which can only be removed once you are healed above the 90%. And Sanguine is when anything dies, it leaves behind a blood patch on the floor, which will heal the mobs that are in it or damage you if you're standing in it, and that lasts for 20 seconds. So it's kind of, if you can, kill them both at the same time, or as many mobs as there are, kill them all at the same time, or just keep kiting backwards every time you kill something. But it can be very tricky for casters, which I'm sure we'll see in a little bit. Heading into the first boss room then, we decided to collect all of these and just hope to dear God that they all die at the same time, because Sanguine's going to heal them up if not. And they're all getting quite low, so as you see we're just moving them back a bit, leaving the Sanguine puddles and then just walking backwards. It's also good to have something like a pushback here. So we've got a chamois with us who can do a pushback, or a druid can do a pushback, or ring a piece is another good one from a monk. Anything like that really. That can just remove the mobs from the Sanguine can help. And then we just do 2 side mobs. We've got a Plague Belcher, which doesn't really do a lot. It does kind of like the same abilities as what the boss is going to do. So it's just going to do like a front away AoE cone, which you just need to avoid. But the main thing is that it's going to summon these little mobs, and if they get to him, you'll just see this mob just gets bigger and bigger. Doesn't heal him, he just does more damage. So you need to stop those ads hitting him. And then there's one on the other side. Just get rid of that. And see there the ads that are coming out now, so do whatever you can to stop them. I've obviously got my Chaos Nova, but it's on cooldown at this moment. Right, you could again use a chamois of Druid or anything to knock them away, or Hunter's Tar Trap, or Ring a Piece, or Frost Trap, anything like that. And get these dead. And ideally you want to be on about 20% by the time you've reached the first boss, but they've removed this big guy from the beginning of the dungeon now, so we're going to have to go back on ourselves. So we just decided to choose this pack here. Which is the 2 mobs on its own, which I still don't think is going to be enough. Plus we've got a Plague Boar as well. But you see that little one's just doing that spinning fungal ability, which just absolutely canes, so you can't interrupt it. I think it just needs to be hard CC'd. And get these 3 down, and then that should be enough for Prideful. See it standing in there in the Sanguine, so we just pushed it out and it runs straight back for it. Fantastic. There you go, that's 20%. And this is the Prideful mob, which doesn't get affected by any affixes as well, so this won't get healed up if it's standing in Sanguine. So again, these spawn at every 20%, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. The mob itself will be doing a ticking AoE burst on the group As you see it builds up, you can see it underneath its nameplate. And also we choose a random party member with these red orbs that shoot out from 4 directions, so just make sure when they do shoot out they're not hitting anyone else or you're not being hit by them. And then once it's dead, which is now, it gives you a 30% damage increase, I think it is, for a minute. Tile it up with hero. I saved my Metamorphosis for this. I'm sure Tree's saved Convoke. And our Chamois probably saved up everything he can. And then really this boss should just get melted with all of these together, especially as it's not a tyrannical week as well. But a few abilities you need to watch out for. One is the slime wave that you saw there, where it just shoots a cone again in front like the little mobs did, so just avoid that. It will also do a stomp which pushes you back a little bit, but the main thing it does is these beckon slimes again. So just make sure there's 1 big ad and 3 small ads on the boss fight. Just make sure that none of them reach the boss. You can trap them or trap the big one, kill the little one, and that's it. So on to the next part of the dungeon. This is where you start to play around with some of the mobs out here called the Plague Borers. And you'll see them, when they get low, they will drop their like little bomb on the floor, and then after a few seconds that bomb will explode, and anything caught inside the bomb's explosion will do massive, it basically leaves a ticking debuff on players and mobs, and it will just kill you very, very quickly. But if it's on the mobs, obviously, it will kill them very quickly, so that's what you want to aim for. Unfortunately, one of the mobs ran away and pulled this Plague Rock, but it's alright, I need to cleave it down. This Belcher, this big dude's not in the Sanguine. When these little ad things come out, you can either kill him or you can just run over him. I'm just chasing the mob for some reason who's gone on an absolute walkabout. I don't know what that mob's doing. So we didn't walk over these ads annoyingly, so we've got to deal with them. And they just need to be purged. Interrupted if possible. Here you go, the Plague Rock's coming back now. I don't know where he went to. He's taking a disliking to me, that's for sure. We have a bit of a mishap here because our tank's dead. And you spawn right at the beginning of the dungeon, annoyingly. We got a good vortex in there to keep all the ads together. We're trying to keep this dream alive. Interrupt its gun, kill it. There's only 2 mobs left. Yeah. Smashed it. Oh no, it's a lie. There's still mobs downstairs. Should be able to take these 2 out of our tank. Shouldn't be too hard. Also, you want to play a bit differently as a Demon Hunter on a Sanguine week. Because on other weeks like Raging or Bolstering or something like that, you want to be using your Chaos Nova at the end of the pull. So you can stun them while the tank needs to run away. Also Necrotic as well. So you can stun all the mobs and then the tank can run away and reset wherever it needs to. But this week, you need to get your Chaos Nova out early because you don't want to be doing an AoE stun when all that Sanguine shit's on the floor, because that will help no one. So here you see we've got the Plague Borers on the floor. When they get a little bit low, they're going to leave their bomb. And then once the bomb's down, you can try and do whatever you can to... You can see the bomb there, the green circle, and hopefully with the mob stay in that circle, they would just take a massive debuff by getting hit by it. Holy shit, there's loads of them. It just makes this whole section so much more quick if you play around with the Plague Borers. Also should mention as well, if you're a Necro Lord, your little special thing in this dungeon is when you do your Fleshcraft, you can Fleshcraft like these red patches and it gives you a big haste buff as well. Nothing to click, just it's all based around your Fleshcraft, unless I'm wrong. I think that's right. So you see we pulled these mobs onto the barrels that are in the green water shit. Because again, they do the same thing as Plague Borers. When they die, they explode and put their debuff on all the mobs. And our Chaos Nova dead because they're going to get killed by the bomb anyway. I need to push that one out if possible. I'll choose my Interrupt. Interrupt's another good, obviously it's a forceful movement as well. So if it's casting in Sanguine, you can just chuck an Interrupt on it and then it should just run to whoever it's trying to spank. As you see me try and do here. There you go, got it. And here it comes over to us now. So then we've just got 40%, so this is our second Prideful. Just going to finish off this ad first. Again, trying not to get hit by the red lines and try not to hit anyone with your red lines. The mobs in Sanguine, doesn't matter, it won't heal. And we're going to take this buff onto the next bit of trash and probably go quite big. There's me jumping over the Sanguine like a clown. So we've pulled everything in here. There's some barrels in the water we could use, but we just choose just to absolutely destroy them all down. So I've got my Chaos Nova in there early, also my Metamorphosis, which is a AoE stun as well. Just helps the tank out a little bit on the initial pull, and now it'd just be a case of just pushing mobs out and interrupting stuff that needs to be with the Sanguine. There's that one who's having a run. But yeah, worked out quite nice. Run over these little mobs. Still 2 that haven't been done. They've been killed though by the chamois. And that would do, yeah, that's up to 50%. So now there's packs on the side you want to be careful not to pull. And then it's this fun part of the dungeon where you again want to utilise the barrels and the plague borers. Basically the mini boss at the end spawns 2 plague borers per turn and they run out towards you. Let them come towards you. And then ideally when they've dropped their bombs, or about to drop their bombs, we'll AoE stun them. And then they should explode and that tentacle will just get absolutely wiped out. And then you just rinse and repeat. But do be careful where you're standing, because we've pulled this tentacle, but you can see on the left there is another tentacle there, which you don't want to pull. So you just need to be careful about where you are, because you can accidentally ninja pull some of these mobs. And I've been picked up by a tentacle. I probably am going to die here, so I'll pop my blur, but yeah, there was no chance of surviving that. And it's a bit of a shit place to die, because it is a running gauntlet, so these mobs are going to keep coming. There's a look at my bags there, everyone. Have a look. Anything you like. We're carrying on. These mobs will just kill themselves, so we just forget about them. They'll kill themselves at the end. And then this is the mini boss that's spawning them. So once he dies, those little ads stop spawning. So you could, in theory, leave him and then just go downstairs and carry on killing the trash and keep using these mobs, but I think it's quicker just to get rid of it now. And they're about to blow up. Well, ideally we want these little plague balls on the mini boss a bit better. There we go. As long as the mini boss doesn't follow us, which it has. Oh no, just get hit. Got hit by both of them exploding, which is why he got absolutely destroyed. And then we go down, we're on 57%, so it hasn't really lined up ideally, because you do want Prideful on the second boss. So there's probably something we could have skipped a bit further on, but something you can work around for next time. You want to kill this purple slime away from any of the other mobs, because it puts an aura on where the other mobs around it take less damage. So try and get this purple one separated somehow, kill it first, and then you can just smash up the other ones. Hence why we're not interrupting those 2 mobs, because if we did, they'd come running towards us, which we don't want. But now we can beam them. Get them dead, which will probably spawn our 60% pride. Yep, there we go. Finish off that last mob. So here you go, I've got the rifle on me, so I'm running out, trying to line up my beams so they hit no one. Did hit tree. I don't know how it hit tree. Like, I'm not having that. I'll blame the stairs. So now she'll run back, and that looks good to me. Kill this mob, and then yeah, I guess we're just using it on the trash, which isn't too bad. Simply it's a fortified week. And we're probably going to use a beam to get those 2 mobs across, or I interrupt just in case beam's on cooldown. Oh, it's just come off cooldown now, I can see it. I mean, the beam was ambitious, but it looked like it missed. And that mob's just standing there casting in Sanguine, which is what they do because they're knobheads. And me chasing this one, it would die. And then one more trash pack left before the boss. The boss is on that platform, so we're going to run round. And at this point we're saving all of our cooldowns. Just ready to go hard on the boss when needed. This has the spine breaker again, it does the belch, just avoid the front of it. And when it dies it will spew out those little ads that you need to walk over again. Apart from that, you've just got a plague borer who just needs to be interrupted. It's not too tricky, and here we should be safe, so when the boss lands on this platform, we should be far enough away from it. Just move it out to Sanguine. Saving all my eye beam and everything like that, just ready for the boss. Here come the ads, run over them quickly. The boss is coming towards us. And yeah, we're going in. Pop my Metamorphosis. And then we just get on it. We have here, we choose to save here, I think, for the third boss, because the third boss is a bit more problematic than this one. This one's a bit of a bitch because it just flies around everywhere and bounces all over the gaff, which is very annoying. So there you go, 60% he's done a runner. So we're going to stampede him raw. Try and spend as little much time in that green as possible. Then you want to focus on the two slimes. The red one needs to die because it will explode after, or green one, sorry, will explode after a while. And if it explodes, it's pretty much a wipe. And obviously the purple one's like the slimes earlier, so anything around the purple one will take reduced damage, so we need to kill this off quickly whilst keeping an interrupt on the boss who does that burning strain cast, and if that goes off too many times it really is horrible. So focus the green one, then pull the purple one away, focus the purple one, and then back on the boss. But keep a half an eye on the boss for where he's jumping and interrupting. And then that 30% should disappear again. So on to the next platform, that's the second Stampeding Roar we got. If you don't have that, there's obviously other stuff you can use. So I'm on this bomb here, I need to move out that green shit because that would kill me if it hits me. It did hit me but it didn't kill me because I'm hard. That's the bomb gone, now onto the purple bomb, and I'm keeping an eye on the boss if it needs to be interrupted. Which it does, so I've got it. And that stops that sequence for a little bit. Do my Glaive Tempest, so it's hitting the both of them. Aiming my eye beam, so it's hitting the both. It's all about those numbers. And there you go, that's that one dead. Obviously it's not too bad on Fortified. On Tyrannical, these bosses are awful. First three are just hell. The last boss isn't too bad. Down to the next section here. Well, there's just one slime we're just going to kill, and we're going to kill it away. Because if it drops Sanguine underneath the tentacle, then you can't move the tentacle, so a bit screwed. And the next platform is a right old faff, especially with Sanguine, because it's such a small area. And you don't want to be in the green stuff, so you kind of have to kill it on that area. And there's a few mobs in there that need to be prioritised. One of them is I can't remember the name, but it's the one that does the web cast, which needs to be interrupted. Might be the venomous spider actually. That's the one that needs to be interrupted with its cast, and with a proper interrupt to stop it like doing a web on the floor and shitloads of damage. Apart from that, there's a mob which is called the Many Eyes, which is probably the most important one, because it puts a shield up around itself, this shield here, and that shield cannot be removed unless it's a hard CC, like a Thunderstorm or a Chaos Nova for me, or a Metamorphosis, or that totem, Capacitor totem. You can tell I play Demon Hunter and Chamois as my main characters because I'm struggling to think of other abilities that can stop that. But any hard stun or pushback should be able to stop that. And avoid those two mobs on the left, and the other tentacles are on 76%, and you want to ideally be on 87% by the time this third boss is killed, because then you have enough trash downstairs. So these ambushes leap on people, and sorry, it's the ambushes that do the web, which has been interrupted there. And Sorry, there's my CC there to get rid of the what's it called? The big shield ability. The ambushers often do these stealthlings as well, which do a shitload of damage if they leap on someone. So when the stealthlings are out and they're beating up someone with ambush like there, I popped a healing potion there and my blur just to help out the healer a little bit. Got the web interrupted. Yeah, just need to make sure you kill these little stealthlings. So there's just so much going on in that. So ambushers interrupt their cast. Kill the stealthlings as soon as possible. Use personal cooldowns. Interrupt the web cast from the mob that's doing the web. And AoE stun the shield when it comes out. And if you've got all that sorted, you'll be alright. Prideful, again, we'd ideally wanted to have it on the third boss. But, I don't know. If it's tyrannical, you definitely would want to. So you'd have to play a bit differently on the trash. But as it's fortified and this trash does hurt, it's probably not too bad just to do this on the trash in a minute anyway. Because there's still one more pack left, which should bring us to 87. There's this pack behind us here. I was eager. I was ready to run in. I'm in. Save my AoE stun for this, because I want to use it when the big shield comes up. Which will be any time now. Yeah, it's down. Interrupted it. I was a bit slow on that. Just kill off the many eyes one first. And there's the Venom Caster, which is about to spawn, summon its ads, but got the interrupt in time. That's it, and then just let the stealthlings just kill them off. 87%, perfect. Still got 20 seconds of Prideful left. And we're going to pop Hero, so why the hell not? It's always worth hearing this boss, because the boss before it just keeps leaping around everywhere, and the last boss just keeps disappearing under the ground. So we use it on this one, because this one hits hard. And for this boss, if you get that shadow ambush on you, you just need to move outside of the group and just let it leap on you, and then come back to the group. Always try and stay hugged, because you need to move as a group when he does this cast. Easily adds the shooting from the webbed zones. You can get him out of like a sigil or mages used to be able to, but what you really want to do is just run in the group over all of them, and then AoE stun them, or anything that can keep them together, nuke them all down, and then back with the boss again. And it's just that rinse and repeat. And the Cyclone Slash, or Psychotic Slash, whatever it's called, that's the tank one you need to use a cooldown on. So Tree's going to stay there because of the ambush ability. And we're just going to run over these webs to get all the other mobs out. You take shitloads of damage with that ambush as well, especially when it's Grievous as well. But that's it, boss is dead. Then through this little door here, taking us down to the last area. So you've got these two mobs at the top of the stairs. Don't give much percent. Don't really do anything too spectacularly. The devoted ones, I think they leave like a debuff on the tank, which really does start to hurt the more of them you have, which you're going to see in a minute, because we're going to have shitloads in a minute. So what you want to do is focus this mini boss whilst just AoEing everything else around it and slowing it and all that, because if all of those devoteds are on the tank, they're just going to be taking a shitload of damage, so you'll see the tank just keep running away. And they also leave Sanguine, which is nice. You don't want Sanguine to be underneath the mini boss though, because that mini boss will just heal to full. So you've got to try and be careful on that. The tank's desperately trying to run because shitloads of those mobs there. That mini boss isn't in Sanguine somehow, which is very handy. She usually just disappear underground, which you kind of want it to do. So it's not in the Sanguine, and appear hopefully somewhere where there isn't Sanguine, which it has. Just kill these last two off. They move quite slowly, and the sanguine only lasts 20 seconds, so it's not the end of the world if they walk through it. It's just obviously better if they don't. And then this mini boss, we want to try and kill back towards the stairs in the room, because when it dies, it will spawn a Prideful wherever we are, and we don't obviously want that with the boss. So we should start to move back now. And is really a bitch to move. You can line of sight it, but I've tried an interrupt, but I don't think it works. So we just need our range just to kill it off, really. And then when that dies, just trying to line of sight desperately around this pillar. Shammy's not having it. He wants to kill it, and he did. So this is our final Prideful, 100%, and then you're going to take this into the last boss. You don't need hero, especially as it's not tyrannical. And yeah, should be fine. A bit tricky, Prideful there with no stairs. Again, we've got all of our cooldowns saved. You can choose to use them at the beginning. I can't remember what I do. Knowing me, I panicked and probably did. Yeah, I did. Look, straight in the Metamorphosis. Hopefully it comes up again for the third phase. So this boss, she just stands in the middle. You can't move her. She doesn't do anything. Someone needs to stand in this circle where this ad is. Preferably the tank, because you take a shitload of damage in it. Kill that off priority. There's also a healing, not healing, like a rain, plague rain that comes down, which healers just need to heal up through. And then these little lads that need to be killed. And that's it for actual stuff you need to do, apart from these tentacles that come out. In the intermission phase, tentacles will come up from the ground, and it's a complete random order every time. It's usually like 3 together, or they spin round, or it's 2 and 2. When they're dark green, they're doing nothing. When they light up light green, they're about to slam. And when they do slam, if you get caught in it, you will get killed. So see which ones are lighting up. Let them slam down. As you look here, these 3 up. They've lit up. They're about to slam. They ain't going to slam that area again. So we just move into the area it just slammed. And that's it. In the third phase, when she comes back up, she will be doing these tentacles whilst the fight is still going on. So that's why third phase is a bit tricky, because it all happens. And this is the third phase now, so just kill her, kill the big ad that comes out, just AoE cleave down the little ads, healers heal up through that rain, avoid the tentacles, and that should be it. Thank you very much for watching. We're going to be doing all the dungeons and all raid bosses, so keep checking back, and have a good day. Goodbye.